We were halfway through our milkshakes at a dusty roadside diner just outside Sedona when my phone started vibrating against the sticky Formica table. The Arizona sun poured through the big windows, painting everything in warm golden light and making the cactus flowers outside glow like they were on fire. My daughter Emma, 10 years old with those bright curious eyes and messy ponytail, was pointing excitedly at a hummingbird darting near the window, its tiny wings a blur of green and ruby.
Mom.
"Look how fast it goes," she whispered, her voice full of wonder. For one perfect second, everything felt right. Just the two of us on our long-awaited mother-daughter trip, far from the gray Chicago winters and the endless grind of my corporate life. I had saved for months to make this happen, packing the car with snacks and playlists, promising Emma we'd hike Cathedral Rock and chase sunsets in the Red Rocks. But that buzz cut through it all like ice water. The caller ID read Marcus Hale, my boss of 8 years, now VP after marrying the founder's daughter. I picked up, keeping my voice even. "Sarah here." "Sarah," he started, his tone clipped and rehearsed, like he was reading off a corporate script. "You left without clearing it through the proper channels. We view this as job abandonment. HR has already processed the paperwork." I didn't gasp. I didn't argue. I just looked at Emma, still mesmerized by the bird. Her straw paused halfway to her mouth. The grease from our shared onion rings lingered on my fingers as I wiped them slowly on a napkin, buying time, letting the moment stretch. "I see," I replied calmly, too calmly. "Should I expect the official notice?" "It's been emailed. Effective immediately." Marcus hung up without another word, the click echoing in my ear. I set the phone down face down and raised my root beer float, gently clinking it against Emma's chocolate shake. She grinned wide, leaning in close. "Don't worry,
Mom.
I've got a surprise for you later." Her trust in me was absolute, innocent, and it nearly broke something inside me. She had no clue that the life I'd built, the stability I'd fought for, was unraveling 3,000 miles away in a boardroom I couldn't even see. Marcus had climbed the ladder fast, mostly on connections rather than merit. The company, Pinnacle Tech Solutions, started as a scrappy startup in a converted warehouse near Austin, Texas. I'd been employee number 4, leaving a stable but soul-crushing accounting job to join when the founder, Elena Vargas, pitched her vision: ethical AI-driven logistics software for small manufacturers. I took a massive pay cut, poured my severance into early seed funding, and worked 80-hour weeks while raising Emma alone after her father left. But I had protected myself quietly. Back then, in the chaotic early days with flickering lights and ramen-fueled all-nighters, I'd insisted on a deferred equity arrangement through a silent partner entity called Red Rock Holdings. It was buried in the original operating agreement, notarized and escrowed, triggered by involuntary termination without documented cause. No one noticed it at the time. It was just legalese in a stack of papers. Over the years, as Pinnacle grew into a multi-million-dollar firm with defense contracts and Fortune 500 clients, I never touched it, never bragged. I stayed in middle management, the reliable operations director who kept things running while executives chased headlines. Marcus never read the fine print. He was too busy golfing with investors and posting about disruptive leadership. He thought firing me mid-vacation for unapproved absence was a power flex. He had no idea he'd just pulled the pin on his own grenade. I smiled faintly at Emma, squeezing her hand. "We're going to be more than okay, sweetheart."
Inside,
my mind raced through the years of quiet strategy. The ownership logs were secure, the clause ironclad under Delaware corporate law. One activation via the trustee portal, and controlling interest would shift. It wasn't revenge, it was justice. The kind that moved through lawyers and servers, not shouting matches. As we finished our shakes and stepped into the parking lot heat, the weight settled differently. Marcus thought he was ending my career. In truth, he was handing me the keys to everything he'd never truly earned. The drive back to our Sedona hotel felt heavier, the desert landscape blurring past, but a strange calm washed over me. The game had changed, and for the first time in years, I held the winning hand. Back in the modest hotel room smelling of desert sage and faint chlorine from the pool, Emma flopped onto the king bed with a magazine from the lobby, flipping pages about local geology. I told her I needed to handle some work emails and slipped into the small balcony overlooking the Red Rock formations. The late afternoon light painted the mesas in deep oranges and purples, casting long dramatic shadows that mirrored the tension building inside me. I pulled out the worn manila folder I'd carried in my suitcase for years, disguised among vacation itineraries. Inside was the single critical page, Clause 17C of the amended operating agreement. Involuntary separation without just cause documented in writing activates full transfer of deferred equity interest via trustee. Red Rock Holdings would assume majority control, with me as beneficiary. It had been vetted by a sharp corporate attorney in Austin 10 years ago, structured to survive audits and avoid scrutiny. My hands didn't shake as I scanned the QR code on the back leading to the secure trustee portal. One authentication click. That's all it took. No courtroom drama. No public confrontation. Just a digital signature and confirmation that Pinnacle Tech Solutions now answered, legally and financially, to new leadership protocols. The transfer was irrevocable once triggered. Banks would freeze certain transactions pending governance verification. Board decisions required my input. I hit confirm. The screen refreshed, activation complete. Equity vested. Notifications dispatched to registered directors and legal counsel. A quiet thrill ran through me. Not triumph exactly, but the deep satisfaction of a plan executed flawlessly after years of patience. Emma called from inside.
Mom.
This magazine says hummingbirds can fly backward. Her voice grounded me. This was for her too. For the future I wanted to secure beyond my own paycheck-to-paycheck existence. 2 days later, we tackled the Cathedral Rock Trail. The path was steep, the air dry and crisp, each step crunching on red dust. Emma bounded ahead like a mountain goat, her laughter echoing off the boulders. I followed slower, backpack heavy with water and snacks. My thoughts on the storm brewing back in Chicago headquarters. My phone buzzed repeatedly despite spotty service. Urgent emails from legal. Operational freeze initiated due to ownership verification request. Board retreat restructuring halted. Governance audit triggered. Marcus had announced sweeping changes at the offsite, department mergers, budget slashes, mass terminations to streamline for growth. He'd overreached spectacularly, assuming unchecked authority. The system flagged it immediately, locking financial systems, payroll holds, contract approvals. I paused on a rocky outcrop, watching Emma scramble higher, her silhouette small against the vast sky. Behind the scenes, chaos unfolded methodically. The trustee alert had cascaded, compliance teams scrambling, outside counsel engaged, directors receiving encrypted packets detailing the original agreement. No one could move funds or sign off on Marcus's plans without resolving the controlling stake issue. It felt like watching dominoes fall in slow motion. Marcus's arrogance had exposed the company's fragile foundation, the one I'd helped build but never claimed loudly. I took a long sip of water, the cool liquid grounding me as the sun dipped lower, painting everything in fiery hues. This wasn't about destroying Pinnacle, it was about saving it from the flashy shortcuts and nepotism that threatened its soul. Later that evening, back in the hotel, I made the call I'd rehearsed mentally for years. Elena Vargas, the founder now semi-retired in New York, answered on the second ring. Her voice was steady, measured. Sarah, are you aware of what's happening? I asked quietly, standing on the balcony as stars emerged overhead. A long pause. I reviewed the documents this afternoon. Marcus acted without full board consensus.
The clause.
It's legitimate. You're not intervening? No, she said softly. The company needs realignment. I built it with people like you. Not this. The line went quiet again. We're moving forward then, I confirmed. Understood. She hung up, leaving the weight of alliance in the air. That night, as Emma slept peacefully, the official packet arrived in my secure inbox. Emergency succession protocols activated. Majority stakeholder confirmed. The next board meeting agenda was already being revised. Marcus's presentation on restructuring would be derailed before it began. I sat in the dark, the desert wind whispering through the sliding door, feeling the slow burn of anticipation. Years of being overlooked, of sacrificing family time for late-night deliverables, of watching less dedicated colleagues climb over me. It all converged here. The explosion was coming, but it would be precise, legal, and final. Emma stirred, murmuring in her sleep. Whatever surprise she had planned, mine was already reshaping our lives. The board meeting unfolded via secure video link 2 days later. The tension thick even through screens. Marcus appeared polished in a tailored suit, his Chicago office backdrop showing sleek modern art and motivational plaques. He launched confidently into his PowerPoint, clicking through slides about bold reorganization, merging sales and operations, cutting 20% of mid-level staff, outsourcing core development to cut costs. His voice boomed with practiced charisma, gesturing emphatically as if victory was assured. The chair, an older investor from Texas, cleared his throat sharply after the third slide. Before we proceed, we must address Agenda Item 1, Ownership Verification and Succession Protocols. Marcus faltered, his smile freezing. That's not on the original agenda. We're here to vote on restructuring. Papers were digitally shared. The full original agreement. Highlighted sections on deferred equity. Trustee confirmation of transfer. And the triggering event. Marcus's termination notice to me was attached as Exhibit A. Lacking any documented just cause beyond unapproved leave. The room fell silent as directors scrolled, faces paling. Legal counsel joined the call, confirming the clause's enforceability under governing law. Marcus stammered, "This is ridiculous." Sarah was AWOL. I had authority as VP. The founder Elena's voice cut in from her feed. You fired her without cause. The documents are clear.
Sit down.
Marcus. His face reddened, knuckles widening on the desk edge. You can't do this. I've grown this company. The chair continued calmly. Controlling interest now rests with Red Rock Holdings beneficiary. Emergency protocols appoint interim leadership and halt unauthorized changes. Marcus tried to argue, but the votes came swiftly. His dismissal was formalized on the spot. Security would handle physical office access. The PowerPoint screen went dark mid-slide. I watched from my Sedona hotel. The feed muted on my laptop while Emma drew pictures nearby. No shouting on my end, just quiet observation as the power shifted permanently. Marcus's empire crumbled not with fireworks, but with parse legalese and unanimous board nods. He had underestimated the quiet architecture I'd embedded years ago. In the following weeks, the restoration began methodically. I nominated Rachel Chen, a brilliant operations lead I'd mentored quietly, as managing director. She understood the original mission, reliable, ethical tech serving American manufacturers without sacrificing people. Payroll adjustments reversed Marcus's proposed cuts, performance bonuses reinstated for overlooked teams. culture working groups, stripped under his tenure, were revived to focus on inclusion and sustainable growth. Internal channels shifted subtly, fewer frantic all-hands, more collaborative threads. Employees who'd felt the anxiety under Marcus's regime breathed easier, productivity rising as trust returned. It wasn't flashy turnaround speeches, it was steady rebuilding, honoring the foundation that had made Pinnacle viable. Returning to the Chicago office after 2 weeks felt like stepping into a recalibrated world. The air hummed with focused energy instead of underlying dread. Marcus's former office now held policy manuals and team whiteboards, his flashy decor replaced by practical order. I walked in quietly with Emma beside me, her backpack full of books. She'd insisted on coming to see where Mom works during her school break. Staff nodded respectfully as I passed, some offering small smiles of understanding. One engineer paused in the hallway. Was this planned? Just followed the original rules, I replied simply. No elaboration needed. The rules had always existed. Marcus simply ignored them. The real surprise came that evening at our small apartment after a quiet dinner. Emma handed me a crinkled paper bag tied with string, her face glowing with pride. Inside was a printed photo of us clinking milkshakes at the Sedona Diner, the hummingbird frozen mid-hover. On the back, her handwritten note in red marker. I entered your business plan in the National Youth Entrepreneurship Competition. They loved it. You won first place. Attached was the official award letter, full grant funding for the proposal I'd sketched years ago. A community-focused AI tool to help small family businesses optimize supply chains ethically. I'd abandoned pursuing it due to work demands, but Emma had secretly polished and submitted it using my old notes. Tears welled as I pulled her into a hug. You did this. Told you I had a surprise, she grinned. Your plan deserved to win. In that moment, everything crystallized. Marcus thought he was stripping my power by firing me on vacation. Instead, his action unlocked the clause that restored balance and inadvertently freed me to mentor the next generation. The company was healing, my legacy secure, and Emma was already carrying it forward with initiative I'd quietly modeled. The desert trip that began in shock ended in profound realignment, leaving one lingering question: how many quiet architects like me exist in every organization, waiting for the right trigger to reveal their true stake?